Doing the surveys to different people really helped me understand how the corruption is in the world. I took advantage of being here in Australia, where I met a lot of people from different countries, some of which are really corrupt, like Lebanon, while others were from Germany. Something that really caught my attention during the surveys, for example, was the question of the light bulbs. Every time I asked them, they just look at me in a really weird way and say like, "How would I know?" Which was a really easy way to understand that they had, for example, big houses, they had incomes. Also, another one that was really curious about it was if they like school, if they had like classmates that cheat, or even if they cheat. And it was really interesting to see their answers because I was comparing them at the same time with Mexico in my head. And for example, in Germany or even in South Korea, a lot of them don't even cheat on their exams or anything. Not even during in college, when in Mexico it's pretty common, some people that if you have like the opportunity, you do it. Also, it helped like a lot to learn about other countries. I interviewed one from South Korea, and even though I thought it was a really like good country, apparently it has a lot of corruption, and we don't even hear about that. And also taking advantage of being here, I interview also some Australians. Was most of us like exchange students think Australia is not a corrupt country? Some Australians actually think there is a lot. So maybe taking in comparison Mexico, we know it's bad in a lot of cases, like politics and the government. But every country has its corruption in a different sector. Except maybe Germany. The answer of the Germans were really no corruption. So I was really impressed because apparently they even look at me funny when they say like in water, in electricity, in garbage removal. And I had to explain like, yeah, like I had to give examples that in Mexico sometimes, for example, if you don't give an extra tip, they don't take your garbage or anything. I found that it's really interesting in how they measure corruption. I think audits are really a good way to see the projects where the money is going, but also the surveys give you a different perspective. I like not only because of the perception, but also the experience. For example, here I learned about the Italian mafia. I learned from an Italian friend where she told us the stories from her personal experience in her family. And she told us that if we ask another Italian from the north, they will say that mafia is actually not a really big deal, it's not that big. But because it's mostly hidden, but in the south of Italy, it's a really big part of it where people are affected. She told us like her personal experience, her family, that they went to knock on to their business and they wanted a payment. They had to do a payment each month, and their family was rejecting it and like saying no, we're not gonna give it, we're not gonna give it. So in the end, the mafia, for example, burned actually their business. So you can see how even in a country there's different perspectives of corruption. In the south of Italy, mafia is something really with a really big deal, while in the north of Italy, it's not something that you actually know about it. So even taking consideration Mexico, in some parts it's not that like big of the deal, like in Cancun or in more tourist places or even Mexico City. But then you see other places or the cities where you can see a lot of corruption, a lot of big deals with the government, all the bodies. So it actually depends a lot where you are, your personal experience with other people, what you learn from your family, from your friends, from the friends of your friends. So I think we will never actually get the full picture of how big corruption is and how much it is actually affecting us. But we have to like try to learn what the most of it is and try to find out in a way on how to measure it to actually change it.